It's 2022. I made it. I'm still alive. I'm still here. I know it's been such a long time since I made a video, but honestly, my life has been kind of stressful and chaotic, and I'll go into more details shortly about that. Nothing major. It's just a few things happened, and I'm very excited to talk about them because the few things that happened made me so happy. So let's just jump right into the first and foremost and most importantly. I got to go home for the holiday season. I got to go home for the first time in 2 years. I hadn't held my parents in my arms or hugged my nephew. I didn't meet my niece. I finally got to meet my niece. I hadn't seen my brothers and sisters. We were all together for the first time. I saw my best friends for the first time in 2 years. So that was the best thing that happened to me that last month, in most recently. It was a little stressful, so that's why I hadn't made a video before, because just planning and packing and preparing for the actual trip was crazy, especially with the new Omicron great strain of COVID and being worried that I might catch it before the flight. So I had planned this trip from, not planned, but I mean I had every intentions, no matter what, to go home in December this year, last year, because nothing was going to stop me. First of all, it was my daddy's 70th birthday, and I wasn't missing my daddy's birthday. I just wasn't doing it. I was going home no matter what. If I had to like magically get superpowers and fly there myself, I was going home. Nothing was going to stop me. So it was my daddy's birthday, and so from June 2021 I booked my ticket, and I just, back then things weren't so bad with COVID, so I was like, it's gonna be great, it's gonna be a nice season. And then November happened, and that new strain of COVID, and then everybody started to get it. And let me tell you, the travel restrictions with COVID right now, it's like you have to do a test for Jamaica. You have to do a test within 48 hours of arriving. If you do a PCR test, then you don't have to do quarantine, and if you do an antigen test, you have to quarantine for 8 days, which nobody's doing anyways in Jamaica. No one's even monitoring that. But I would have quarantined if I had done the antigen test, but I just decided just to do the PCR. I did the PCR test. I booked my PCR test to fly out. So for that month before, I was just preparing for the trip, packing, buying things. I went a little OD over. I just went crazy with buying stuff for my niece and my nephew, and like my other family members who didn't really want anything, which is weird for Jamaicans. They didn't want anything. You coming from foreign and they didn't want anything. So I was like, whatever. I just went crazy buying stuff for my niece and my nephew and just preparing for that. And my mindset and my plan of action to not get COVID right before that, which everybody just started getting COVID at first week, that mid-December. And I was traveling December 22nd. So I was just like panicking for like 2 weeks before, because I didn't want to get COVID right before the flight, cancel the flight, couldn't make it home. Just looking back now, I was so stressed. I don't know how I just dropped down from a heart attack one day. I don't know how I didn't do it, because I was so stressed out. But I went for my PCR test 48 hours before, so that would have been on the 21st of December, the 20th of December. The very next day, I got an email with my test results, and I was like, my heart was like pumping, and it said negative. And then I could finally just relax and just like make the realization of I'm going home to see my family just come over me. I was so happy. I had no problems getting to the airport on the 22nd. My flight had no issues. I landed. My mommy and my sister came to pick me up. I saw my daddy at home. I had a party on the way home. That was a great trip. But because I didn't want to get COVID, so I couldn't come back to Canada, I didn't go anywhere. Jamaica was kicking up with COVID. Like everyone was starting to get COVID, especially because of traveling and everyone's coming home. And I just remember landing, and I had a bunch of PCR tests. Okay, so lucky me, because I work in the healthcare system. My the entity I work with gave us a allowed us to get PCR home kits. I have a bunch of them right now. Let me just show you. So like, this is a big box of testing kits, and it's so that we could test so we don't come to work with COVID and then pass it on to the people at work. So that was amazing of them. I love the company I work with, and so I brought that box with me home. So when I landed, I took a test, made sure I was okay. I tested a couple members of my family to make sure they were okay, and then I just stayed home. I just stayed home the whole time. I went to the vet because my dog had a cough. Spent a bunch of money just to hear she had a cold. I went to the vet. That was it. And then I stayed home. I saw the few friends I saw. They'd come to my house. We wouldn't hug. We'd be masked up. I didn't even get to hug my goddaughter properly. And it was the saddest thing. I didn't get to hug my best friends properly. I just gave them a quick hug and then backed away quickly. My godson, I kind of just saw him. I was like, what's up? Threw him his gift and then walked away, because it's just so terrifying, this COVID situation. And I didn't want to give the people I love COVID. And honestly, I'm just glad I got to see them, because it was the first time in 2 years and I miss them so much. I miss them so much. But yeah, I was home the whole time, slept, ate food, drank sorrel and Christmas cake every single day. Every single day I drank sorrel. I put on so much weight because sorrel is full of sugar, but I hadn't drank any sorrel in 2 years. It was just magical. Honestly, it was magical. You see how happy I am? It's the memories that will continue for the rest of the year. But I stayed home at Christmas. We don't celebrate Christmas in my family, so we didn't do anything. I think we had chicken ham, and that was it. What else? I got to meet my niece. I mean, I saw my nephew, and I hadn't seen my nephew. My nephew is my twin. My nephew looks exactly like me. My nephew is my baby. I got to see him. He remembers Auntie Liddy. But then I got to meet my niece, and oh my God, she's just the most beautiful, perfect, sweetest little girl in the whole wide world. And I'm complete. That was a moment I was been waiting for, to see my nephew again, and to see my niece, and to see my best friends, and to hug my parents. I'm so happy. I'm so happy now, just even thinking about that. And for the rest of the time, like I said, I stayed home. I slept a lot. I played with my new cat. I got to meet our new pet at home. His name is Astro. Well, technically his name was, at first we thought he was a she, and her name at the time was AstraZeneca. My sister's didn't say. My sister's the one who named him. And then he grew balls, and we changed his name to Astro. So his name is AstraZeneca. He's so cute, so soft, just amazing. Attacked my legs every day I was there. So I now have terrible scars all over my leg. He's insane. But that was amazing too, just meeting my new pet, especially after the loss of our 18-year-old cat. It was such an emotional trip, but amazing. I was so happy. I just stayed home, played with my dogs. I got to hang out with my beautiful puppies, my Brandy and my Kaya. It was the best trip ever. And then on New Year's weekend, we went away to a villa. Beautiful property. The seawater pool was amazing. We hung out there the whole time. I kind of have a tan now. I got a nice little tan. And just hung out with the entire family. And I celebrated my dad's birthday. We just had a small family dinner with just the immediate family, including his sister, my aunt, my uncle, and my cousin Trudy. What's up, Trudy Rudy? And that was so fun. My daddy and my mommy were dancing at the end of the night together, and that was worth it. That made the whole trip so worth it. And then after that, for New Year's weekend, we went away to the villa, and it was beautiful. We had an amazing New Year's, and we played games because there was no internet. So we literally just had to talk to each other and find some form of entertainment. But it was so nice. It was the first time my parents had all their children together in 2 years. And my mommy was so happy. We even took a family picture at the end, an informal family picture. And yeah, it was nice. It was really, really nice. It was amazing. And then I went home. And then there was a panic after to get back to Canada, because I I went to one of the places to do the PCR test to travel, and they said it was too late to do it there, and I started panicking. I even started crying, and my sister's like, just go to the airport and do the test. So if you're traveling back from Jamaica somewhere, just go to the airport and do the test. You don't even have to go the same day as your flight. Just go to the airport. Don't go anywhere. Well, Winchester is good if you're in Jamaica right now, but just go to the airport. So after that panicking, and then when I got the test back the next day, my vacation was complete and perfect, because I didn't get COVID before I landed. I didn't get COVID while I was in Jamaica, and I was able to come back into Canada. No problems. They tested me again at the airport, so I had to quarantine for 1 day when I got back, which means I had to move my driving test again. I don't know when. At this point, I don't know when I'm going to get my driving test, but I'll talk about that later. But that was my vacation. That was the perfect vacation home in Jamaica, and I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I can't wait to go back. I'm probably going to go back in December for my mommy's 70th birthday. Excited about that. Hopefully COVID would be over, because I'm so sick and tired of COVID at this point. But yeah, so that was my trip back home. That was the biggest thing that happened to me so far, and I'm very excited. Now I'm just back into the swing of things here. Went back to work. I even started this new volunteer position at a research lab here in Toronto. Not going to give too many details, but hopefully that experience will allow me to probably get a job in the technician field, because I think that's what I'm aiming for. I usually, as an environmental technician, I'm mostly outdoors in the field, but I want like wet lab experience and to work in a wet lab in a enclosed environment. So I'm getting volunteer experience from that, and that's the kind of things you need to do to advance when you arrive in Canada. You need to do volunteer work, you need to make connections, and hopefully that works out. I still have my other 2 jobs that I'm working, so I have no time whatsoever, but I'm enjoying my life. Yeah. And then we had a blizzard last week, Monday. It's like, what was that? January, I don't even remember. When was that? January 14 something. Toronto had a major blizzard. It was inches and inches and inches of snow. For example, like up to the Jamaican expression, up to my bati in snow. Because I was even trying to get home. So I went to work. Nothing's going to stop me from going to work. That's the type of personality I am. I'm a little workaholic. Snow, as long as the transportation is working on my end, I'm going to get it to work. And in fact, I was only 10 minutes to work versus everyone else who couldn't get in at all. So I'm proud of myself. But getting to work, there was so much snow. I don't even know how I really got to work. Luckily, the buses on my road were running. Luckily, the train from my side to work was running. The other side wasn't. And then the next day I had to come early to work, and luckily things were still running. They were late, but they were still running. But it was a major blizzard apparently, because Toronto hadn't seen anything like that in about 15-20 years. And I didn't realize how bad, because I wasn't here. So getting to work was difficult for the first 3 days, but it's calmed down now. But there was so much snow. There was so much snow. I've never seen that much snow in my life. I could not even get into my house when I was coming home the first day of the actual storm. And luckily my landlords cleared the way after, because I was swimming in the snow to try and get into my home. But that was another but I celebrated my 2-year anniversary here in Canada, and I'm so happy. I've been in Canada and experiencing everything bad that's going on with COVID, but I'm still managing. I'm still okay. I don't have that many issues. I have jobs at least, and hopefully as things calm down, as we go through the 4th wave and we're coming out of it, more opportunities can open up for me, and I can start living the life I should have been living 2 years ago, but was sidetracked because of COVID. Fingers crossed again. But yeah, so the plans I have for this year are to get a new job, one where I don't have to work 2 jobs, one, a financially secure one, hopefully, in my field, or something close to my field, science related. I also need to get my driver's license, because that's also hampering me from getting something in my field. As you guys, I've mentioned this so many times, but I really need a driver's license. My driving test was moved twice. I've changed my driving instructor twice. I'll make a different video about that if I ever get my driving license. But yeah, so that test is now set till February, I think. Yeah, end of February. So we'll see how that goes. And driving test, new job. That's it, just to settle in more. But life is beautiful. In fact, 2 years ago on this date, I went through 3 years ago. 3 years ago, when I was in Japan, I had major surgery. What was it called? Myomectomy? I don't remember the name of the surgery, but I had my major surgery and I survived that. So every day, every anniversary of that, I'm like, you had major surgery in Japan by yourself, well, with the help of mama and papa son, but technically by yourself without your family, and you made it. So that's always my marker for, you can absolutely do anything that you want to do, Lydia, because you did that and you got through it. You moved to Japan by yourself and you got through it. You moved to Canada by yourself during COVID and you got through it. So January is like my remembrance month of like remembering, you can do this. Just continue. You're doing amazing, sweetie, as Kris Kardashian would say. You're doing amazing, sweetie. So hopefully all my plans work out for the rest of 2020. Fingers crossed. And I'll be sure to make more videos when I have the time. Right now I really don't have the time. I'm trying to make time for myself, doing fun things for myself when I'm not working. For example, I bought ice skates and I plan to go ice skating quite often, or as often as possible, because that's something that I enjoy doing and that will make me happy. So that's my focus for this year, is to do things that make me happy, do things that put me in a frame of mind where I'm like grateful, over grateful if I have to be. And like I said, the start of the year has been great so far. Just the fact that I got to see my family, it meant the world to me. And I'm staying in my apartment. I renewed my lease. So everything, fingers crossed, is going according to plan. So that was an update on my life, what's been going on, what I've been doing, and hopefully everything goes well. So till next video, which hopefully will be soon. I'm not sure. We'll see what I'll do. Bye.